Creo que tenemos una oportunidad maravillosa para escuchar a las tres personas que han estado aquí en una mesa redonda que va a ser muy ágil, presentada y dinamizada y moderada por Begoña Rodríguez, directora de Basque Culinary Center Innovation, BCC Innovation. Es nuestro centro de investigación. Michael, Judith, Yasaman, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Un aplauso, por favor, para ellos. Gracias.
So for me, it's a great pleasure to share this last part of the event with such important researchers as Yassama, Judith and Michael. Thank you so much for being with us today. And I enjoy a lot your presentation, your interesting and inspiring talks. And thank you also for sharing with us the cutting-edge knowledge generated in your organization with your different studies, okay? So, a pity, I have a lot of questions, as you can see, but we have no time to all of them. So I am going to do one, two, three, no more? Okay, so let's go. Adela mentioned before that she was afraid of being substituted by a hologram. We have been talking a lot about technology and design. So do you think that in the future, the limits between technology and human being is going to disappear? We are going to be like cyborgs or something like that? Do you think so?
I think we're already cyborgs.
I feel so. I have cyborgs.
Right? Come on.
We are.
I mean, it's true.
Really?
Like, if you have your phone all the time, constantly with you, and sometimes if you don't have it, you feel like there's an amputation, you don't have a part of your body. Right. It's like, oh, what is my phone? It's like the knowledge is extended already. So I think we're already cyborgs. I really believe so.
I share the same perspective.
So Adela, we are cyborgs. Michael, do you think the same?
Same, yeah.
Yeah? But it's going to be, you know, this, the technology with us is going to be even you know, deeper or even higher. Yeah.
I think as interfaces continue to evolve and develop, even at scale, so working with the microbial scale too, you'll have not just a clunky phone and a screen that begins to interact with you, but different microbes. In Cambridge right now, there's an anti-shampoo that uses the same mechanisms that horses use to clean themselves. So you begin to merge with the technologies at different scales too, even in just like your skin. Mm-hmm. So we'll
definitely, yes.
I think what we call technology, there's like a theory, I forget what it's called, but it's what we call technology is constantly shifting. Yeah. Because like we don't call clothing technology, we don't call glasses technology, we don't even call our car technology, but we call like microbial interfaces technology. So our computers technology. So I wonder if like in the future my kid or my grandkid would think their computers technology. That's more
interesting.
I wonder about that.
Yeah, interesting. Second question. All of you have mentioned, have talked about sense, smells, odors, you know, flavors. Sense is connected with gastronomy, of course, with food. What do you think is going to be, you know, the most challenge or the biggest challenge in the fields that you research? What do you think? What are you expected in this field? You know, the disruptive innovation or technology or whatever in your field.
I think, I mean, to me, the biggest challenge is really try to think how we can merge these disciplines, right? Like we're really trying to push that, but how we can, actually right now, how can we collaborate with the Basque Culinary Center, for example,
yeah, totally.
Right?
Yeah, and I think one of those biggest barriers is actually the language you use. So how does a neuroscientist who's looking at the sensory cortex begin to talk with the engineer who's working on a sensor, who's talking with the chef who's creating an experience? So I think that common language is one of the biggest barriers we have right now to bridging the different disciplines.
I agree with that. I think language is really fascinating, especially when it comes to science. Scientists, it's like there's vocabulary that maybe I don't understand, but there's metaphors to be connected. But I just do want to say, I think your question around the challenge, I think actually more challenging than the language. I think if we put our minds together, we're all capable. We can come together, we can like have communication. What I'm worried about or like feel like is challenging is defining what good is. Like, what's the right thing to do? I don't know. I think there's a feeling that people know what it is, but I think there's so many different people in the world, and there's so many different perspectives. And being, you know, Middle Eastern and living in America, that's like very clear very quickly. There's different point of views. So I think for me, it's like the plurality of futures, and who gets to decide that future is the challenge. It's more decision-making that's the harder part, I think.
So no boundaries between technology and human beings, no boundaries between, you know, all the knowledge and, you know, all the different technological, or the different skills, no, with people. So this will be, you know, the future, all these, the pluralities of the future. And finally, what are your dreams? No, it was the final question for today. Your dreams.
I'm dreaming about dreams. I mean, seriously. No, okay, so really, to be serious, I'm dreaming about a future where, I don't know, we really think beyond just technologies that augment ourselves because of a certain necessity related to a product, or like a big tech company that wants to make profit and things like that. Like, I really think that we should create a future where we really care about people and really think about those people that are in minorities, those people that really need that because they have certain disabilities, and really
an inclusive society, perhaps more inclusive society.
Yeah,
inclusive.
Yeah. And really think about applications related to, again, like well-being. I think those are things that we're really, at least in the US, I feel like there's like a really big problem related to stress, anxiety. We're creating a bunch of technology, things that augment us, like a lot of, you know, like interaction with the phone, and then we're losing that social interaction, that really like the purity of being human. We're turning to machines instead of like really enhancing what it's to be human.
Social interaction, Michael?
Yeah, I think going beyond even externalities and systems, I begin to dream of a future where these things are more interconnected in a very intentional sense. So what does cross-sector collaboration look like, where it's not just on the public or private's front to push this R&D or to push these technologies? How do you begin to create, whether it's through data infrastructure, new protocols, new technologies, how do you begin to create the collaboration so it's not the government versus private business, but there's a working together for that common shared goal for innovating?
Okay. Yeah, actually, being New York, Copenhagen is like stark difference, because Copenhagen, it's like, also Costa Rica. Costa Rica and Copenhagen are touted as the happiest places on earth. Yeah. And they have this like work-life balance. And here in New York, it's like work. So I agree with that. And I think learning from models that can support human beings. But my dream, my ultimate dream, is to, I know that sounds cliche, but I want to think about other species, because I feel like we just keep talking about ourselves, and we're like, humans are so great. If we could just be diverse, literally, if we could be culturally diverse, because there's a lot of people speaking for other people, there's a lot of minorities that are not included, including women and not people who are privileged. But also animals and other species, I think we just don't talk about them. And if we do, it's like, oh, that's the activist. That's like the Greenpeace person. So like, why don't we do that? Because we're living in this planet all together. And I don't want to be like, sustainability is a thing. It's just so important. It's like your children are going to live in this earth. How can you not care? So for me, sorry, just blabbling. This is the jet lag, I think. Yeah, I just care about other species.
So thank you so much for sharing your dreams with us. And Adela, is your turn,
what's your
I think.
Dream?
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on. I agree with you. I would like to create a more inclusive society with where the minorities have a very important role, a more important role. For example, women, children, the ill people. We are going to live in a world with all of us, with a lot of ages, with a lot of. We are going to be really, really old. So I think inclusive people, inclusive society, in classic society, and also technology, I think, is not a bad thing, but it must help us to create this, this better world, I would say. So.
Thank you very much for dreaming. Thank you very much. If you want to stay there, you can just stay there, yes. Y ya vamos a cerrar. Únicamente contando algunas de las conclusiones de todo lo que ha ocurrido aquí, siendo muy breve. Desde luego se ha hablado muchísimo de trabajo colaborativo, de la interacción de los sentidos, del nuevo papel del diseño, de la pasión por emprender, de esa perseverancia inteligente, de 1 trillón de olores. El futuro, desde luego, está aquí y sigamos soñando. Muchísimas gracias, Think Gastronomy. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Thank you. Muchas gracias.